Shannon Storm's Bador. I need you to continue bossing up and being the boss that you are by standing 10 toes down when it comes to your reservations as it relates to Tamra and her shady antics and everything else in between. And while you're at it, go ahead and slide some notes or maybe a self help book over to Jen so she can have something click upstairs and maybe not the self help book that Tamra was claiming to give to you that she thought was real cute or that she thought was going to be a good look, but actually made her look even crazier than what she already is. Not that type of book, but an actual positive book to help Jen to see that she doesn't need people like that in her life. Oh, please do. And the way that the manipulation was on 1,000 for me with Tamara watching this episode, and it was just exhausting. Per usual. I'm like, bravo, bravo, please. I mean, like, what are you trying to do to us? Okay. For the 1,000th time. I just need to know. But what is going on, y'all? It is your girl, Taina B here. Welcome to my chat party. If you're here to join me a little bit, a lot of bit, fashionably early, fashionably late, I appreciate you so much from the bottom of my heart to hear my little thoughts, my little views, my little opinions on the Real Housewives of Orange County season 19, episode number 10. All fun, not always all facts, just my opinion, but definitely some facts up in there. Okay. I'm just happy to have you here. For those of you who did your two-step and your spins on my dance floor last video, you already know what it is. You are the bomb.com. I dare somebody else to say otherwise. For those of you who hit the like button or just came by with your viewership, or who allowed the guest list to guest list yet again. And I'm still gonna work on that, y'all. I'm gonna get to figuring that out for real. I didn't even get a chance to do it this week. Forgive me yet again. I promise it's one of those situations. It's always a situation where it's like a charge it to my mind and not my heart. I promise you. But I'm gonna get it together. Okay. I'm going to get it together. And let me just disclaim for the record too. I got these shades on because I know you're like, girl, why you sitting in your house with shades on? No, these are actually my reader glasses. They're just shaded. And I happen to put them on so I can actually see my notes. But also because I'm like, okay, well, it matches my outfit too. And this is a party after all, right? All right. So let's go ahead and get into the things of the things. So I'm going to go ahead and hop right into Tamara calling Shannon on a FaceTime to invite her to Temecula, which is supposed to be this 24-hour trip where I guess they're supposed to zen out, whatever, in this beautiful house. I guess it's just a quick change of scenery, right? Change of pace, whatever moment. She advises that she has plans to invite Jen and Gina along for the ride. And we can see that Shannon's hesitant about the trip because she doesn't know what she's going to get with Tamara, right? What type of time Tamara's going to be on. And I'm like, and that's exactly why you shouldn't be going, Shannon, but you got to film, right? Okay. So I'm not going to hold that against you. And so we have Emily and Tamra who meet at some type of boutique, right? And sidebar, I said Emily looks stunning in her confession, okay? Though she gets on my ever loving nerve. I've got to give the credit where the credit is due, especially when you're dealing with a party, okay, honey? Because the parties are about fashion, right? I feel like it's definitely one of her best looks that we have ever seen. She just looked refreshing from head to toe. Everything was sitting just right, from the hair to the makeup to the dress to her boobs sitting in it, to her arms looking nice and right. Like she just looked great. Her skin glowing. Loved it. Don't know if you'll get all that from me again as it relates to her, but hey, it is what it is. I ain't afraid to call it out when I need to. And from there, we have, while Tamra and Emily are meeting at the boutique across town, you have Gina, Jen, and Shannon meeting for lunch. And so Emily's what chair pick happens to come up as Gina's talking with the girls because Gina's letting them know, oh, I just came from this cheer competition with my daughter, blah, 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 blah. So I'm bringing that up to say, when we saw the picture of Emily, I'm like, y'all, did y'all see my eyes see her looking drastically different like she does now? And I get she's older, right? But still, we still have some resemblance to ourselves we're younger to when we get older, unless you've had a whole bunch of work done. Hence my point. I'm like, girl, you look so different. All that Botox and fillers and all the things doing the most. I'm like, that doesn't even look like Emily. Are we sure that was Emily's cheer pick? Like, yeah, I don't know about that. Night and day. So, anyways, they talk about the invite to the Temecula um getaway, and Shannon sharing how she had her reservations with it and everything else. And then you have Tamara on the other side telling Emily about her call and shading Shannon right off the rip. Right off the rip. She's like, yeah, um, The girl was a hot mess. I called her, her hair is sticking up, her boobs were hanging out of her shirt. And I said, "Oh, but you're changing, right, Tamra? But you're changing." Okay, girl. And I can't wait for Shannon to watch all of this, especially when Tamra shaded her in that scene with her daughter in the book, which we'll get to that. Because I'm like, this will be your reminder, Shannon, that what you're doing by staying away from this lady and continuing to move on without her is the best thing you could ever do for yourself. And you don't need to look back. Okay. And I just kept sitting there, y'all, because it was just irritating me. And I just kept saying over and over repetitively, like, Tamara is so gross. Tamara is so gross. Like, you are just so gross. And she's just insufferable in all capital letters. So this is to my point. Like, Bravo, why do you want to do this to us? Like, I'm still trying to make sense of why Bravo still has her on our screens. I can't go with the whole, oh, well, it's something for the people to talk about. Who wants to be stressed talking about this toxicity? Like, I'd rather talk about a million other things. I promise you that there are a million other people that are way more interesting, that actually give us some type of good feels when we see them, that we would love to see more. But instead, we get this, somebody else holding up somebody else's spot. Like, I'm over it. Okay. Wow. And so she says in her confessional, she feels bad for how, or for her delivery to Shannon last year, right? She feels bad about it. And I said, okay, do you really? Because we can't tell. And that's because you don't. Again, the lies are on deck. And she doesn't like throwing away friendships with history that deep. But these are the exact reasons sometimes why folks cannot hold on to history, because you're holding on to long suffering phases of life where you're dealing with the same nonsense that is not good sense over and over and over again. And who got time for that? I know I don't, and I don't deal with that. And I hope you guys out there don't deal with it either. Not good for your health, not good for your mental sanity, not good for your peace or any of it. And so I'm mad that at this lunch, Gina and Jen were encouraging Shannon to go along with the flow of that said insanity. That is Tamra. Like, they don't know what that thing has done to Shannon. And I'm like, it kind of reminds me, actually, last night, I took my oldest son to the movies. He wanted to see The Demon Slayer, which is an anime film. You guys are probably familiar with it, maybe not. And when I tell you, there was just this one demon, and I don't feel like I'm ruining this if there's some of you guys that haven't seen it and want to see it. There's just one demon at this particular time that just would not die. I mean, it just kept coming back and coming back and coming back. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Tamra. That is Tamra. And I feel like that's what that is in Shannon's life. Like, Tamra just will not go away and let go of Shannon and what they had. Like, girl, please let it be. Like, girl, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm like, Jen, especially you, Jen, because of what you've been through, how could you allow these things to come out of your mouth in terms of, trying to push that narrative because you want to do that on to Shannon? Like, if anything, I would have been sitting there telling Shannon, like, girl, you already know what type of time Tamara's on. Don't you fool with that, but you go ahead and get you a free trip and enjoy yourself, okay? You've learned how to be cordial in her midst. Just do that. Get you some good food, good relaxation, and then you're right on about your business, okay? We're not doing anything else. Like, I think Gina was mentioning something about, maybe there being room for, she didn't say a conversation, but she was still leaning towards some type of healing or positive direction with them. Like, girl, those days are long gone. Don't, what day you say? Gone are the days. Like, what are we doing here? And I'm like, Jen, if you want to continue to be foolish, but be foolish by your damn self, okay? And so Jen's talking about, let's be the bigger people. And I'm like, Jen, she actually is being the bigger person while keeping things cordial, okay? And not going off on Tamara every time she sees her face like she should and ought to, because some of us don't have that type of self-control. Some of us don't know how to be that friendly with it. All right. So I'm gonna give Shannon a huge kudos for that one. And not for nothing, I don't, and this is very much a sidebar, I don't see how there wouldn't be a rekindling with Shannon and Katie now with what they've been through. And I still will say what Katie did was wrong. But then I kind of had to, it popped in my mind in this moment as I'm watching this segment. I'm like, but at the same time, Katie ain't take it to the level that Tamara's ever taken it to, ever. with the stuff that has come out of Tamra's mouth that is so damning and damaging. As a matter of fact, I was having that conversation with my mom earlier today. And, because my mom said, she was having her own prayer time and she was like, well, Lord, I mean, there's that saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Oh, words definitely do hurt me. And that is the truth. And Tamra has destroyed so many spirits, so many people with her words, just her words alone. So I'm like, we gonna act like that one thing Katie did to Shannon is the end all be all to life, and Shannon would never reconsider? I don't know. I just don't know, because Shannon's dealt with Tamara's BS for a very long time. And on top of that, let it not be lost on us also that, okay, Katie shared information with the ops, which was not cute, not cool, not any of those things. But did we forget that Tamara was actually friends and befriending the ops a whole entire season, and maybe even then some? Still might be friends with them now. Get away from me with this. So at the end of the day, it's like, there might be hope for Katie and Shannon. Just when I thought there wasn't, I was quickly reminded, oh, I think I'm wrong. There just may be. And so let's go ahead and fast forward to the scene of Tamra and her daughter, which I would have fast forwarded through had I not seen the upcoming previews of her shading Shannon in that scene. And I said, okay, you love Shannon and you care about your history and your long-standing friendship, and you've changed. But you bought a book for Shannon and you tell your daughter it's because Shannon's been being a bitch. First of all, let's stop you right there. No, she is not being a bitch. All right. And actually, I want to ask, if she's being a bitch, then what would you call yourself and what you've been to her this whole entire time and the whole entire past seasons? Because you still continue to shade her up until this very episode. Okay. But my thing is, no, she's just awakened to your nonsense and she ain't got time for it. See, that's the thing too. People always want to hold you to when you change and no longer want to deal with their stuff. Then they act like you're the funny style one because you no longer want to tolerate what you don't have to tolerate. And that's just wild to me. So I'm like, okay, so we're going to throw this on Shannon. Okay. That's what you do. Right. So the book is called How Not to Be a Miserable Cow. And I'm like, see, who in their right mind would give that to someone that they care about, but who they're also trying to move forward with in a positive direction. So I was glad her daughter called her out, like, Mom, this is mad passive aggressive. And she also shows her daughter that the book has big letters in it. So the daughter's like, okay, so not only you doing that, but then you're letting her know she can't see. Like, just all the way wrong. I said again, Shannon, clock in. Clock in. Hope you watching right along with us so you can get prepared for that reunion. Okay. And so the ladies, they get their travels for their respective trips underway. Both beautiful places that they're going to. As we see, the house in Temecula is really pretty, albeit Heather's place, on the other side of town. We also know how she gets down, so that's also very pretty. And I just love her setup. I thought it was very lovely. And sidebar, I said, Shannon, you really had to bring a suitcase filled with kitchen gadgets. And not only with, I mean, who try, like, girl, I be having a hard time just fitting what I need to fit in to put on my body. And you worried about some doggone kitchen gadgets that are already there when you get there. Okay. And for the place where you're staying, it looks like the gadgets are probably nice and sanitary and all the things. And even so, if you're like me, you're still going to wash it before you use it anyway. So I'm like, but then on top of that, just for one night, yeah, that's doing the absolute most. All right. But okay, I guess. And even with that, I'm going to fast forward through a lot of the chatter that we hear through these different scenes because some of it was definitely irritating me. Like Heather saying, oh, everyone thinks I'm scared of Tamara, right? But, I was the one, to call her out, for lack of better words, when I got back from New Orleans and no one else did. And it's like, okay, girl, I'll give you that quick little throw in insert if you'd like. But the bottom line is, you still enable her, and it's still not a good thing either way you slice it. Okay, scared, not scared, you're an enabler. You're an enabler, and it's just not a good look for you or for her. Or the fact of another irritating moment, Gina asking Tamra why she thinks Shannon doesn't want to move on, and Tamra saying it's because Shannon holds grudges. And I'm like, girl, again, you're so delusional. That's what it's about. Okay. We gonna forget everything you done said and done, but it's because she likes to hold grudges. Or Tamara trying to dumb down the photo of Jen to Emily, I mean to Gina as they're talking in the little winery field, wherever they were, like Heather presented it wrong. And I'm like, okay, I see we're continuing with the recurring theme these last couple of episodes, which have been the lies. Okay, the lies, the lies, the lies, the lies. Shout out to Candy Barris. And so we arrive to the best part of the episode, the best part of the night, which is the dinner of Gina, Tamra, Jen, and Shannon. So the whole fatty photo conversation comes up. Tamara says she never called it a fatty photo. And even then, I'm like, girl, but you knew exactly the point that you were trying to make. And that's why I was so glad when Jen then interjected, like, okay, well, then what was your intent? I was like, bam, beautiful question. What was your intent? And naturally, we know that Tamara was gonna skate all around that like she did, like the folks like to say in the street. She had to backpedal and pop on that because it's like, you know exactly what you were trying to do with that. And she goes and tries to mumble jumble up some words to say, she's changed. The photo represents how Jen has changed, or the photo back then to now represents how she's changed, like almost like in a negative way. And she was like, you were this shy, super insecure girl, and then you just changed. I said, oh, bingo. Ding, 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 ding. DJ hit that horn. Bow, 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 bow. There we go, right there. That's the whole problem that Tamara has had with Jen, right? Now, we already knew it was a jealousy thing, but I'm like, bam, that really gives us the specific concrete detail that we need, the evidence right there, exhibit A. All right, because it's like people are fine when you're in a lowly place because you're not outshining them. But when you wake up to who you are, like Jen said, and you glow up in every way, that's when people's own insecurities come out, and then they want to start lashing out and hating on you. Period. All right. Tamara was sitting there, by the way, to me looking like a devil in a black hat. Last episode or a couple episodes back, she was the devil in red. Now I'm like devil in black. I don't know. She just looks so sinister and evil sitting there. Then when she's coming at Jen, the way her mouth was gone, I was like, oh, girl, oh, Jesus. The spirit is up in there and it needs to come out. Okay. Oh, I'm not even going to say what I was thinking. Oh, I'm not going to say it. Okay. Let me move on before I say it. Let me move on. Okay. And Jen and Tamara are going deeper into their issues, trying to figure out where they went wrong. So this whole Cabo trip comes out. Long story short, Tamara's trying to act like her and Eddie were so disgusted with the fact that Jen was cheating on her husband at the time. Was it with Ryan, I guess? Or with whomever in that moment. And it was Shannon's face for me. It was y'all peep Shannon's face because she was like, and then says in her confessional, but Tamara, yet you were the one who cheated on Simon with Eddie. Now let's make that make sense. I said, okay, the hypocrisy of it all. And I'm like, people, this is what I'm saying. When people operate like Tamara does, it just makes me wonder, like, what is really happening up there? Are you okay? Like, you really think that people have forgotten about this stuff? Or you really think you could change the minds of people like that? Maybe so, right? Because there's a lot of gullible people in the world. But I'm like, you just can't be that naive to the fact that folks will be on to you and they're watching you and they know that. Mm, okay, they know. Okay, if you know, you know what type of person you are. And so Jen asked to see the pic, the fatty photo, and she ends up getting mad all over again. It strikes a nerve. And I loved it because I think, what was it, her daughter maybe that Jen was using as an example? Like, if, oh, so and so, showed me a picture of her friend like that, I would say you're being a little bitch. I just said, okay, well, check it. All right. Teach them young, right? How not to be, how not to grow into a Tamara. And in her confessional, she reads Tamara her rights about how she has low self esteem. And I was here for it all. I really was. I promise you. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, Jen, I don't understand what you don't get about this being a dangerous situation that you keep entertaining. Like, you need to get like Shannon and leave it alone, leave it be. You keep finding like Jen has started, and we've seen this in the past season, right? Where her switch just went on and she was activated, and she continued to just really be on point with her thoughts. But it's like, I need you to follow through with that though. Ryan seems to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like he seems to get it, and his relationship ain't even that deep with her. Ryan, please encourage your woman more. Please, please, please. Okay. Please help your woman to get with the program, because it's so annoying to have to watch her really make it make sense, but then not apply and not follow through. And I don't know if that goes to Jen's kind heart or whatever. I can't. So, anyways, Tamara ends up apologizing, but in true Tamra fashion, she goes off in less than 15 seconds later. Because again, Jen was just over it. And so Shannon hops in with that high energy. I was like, what the people be doing now? Okay. I think that's it, right, you guys? Right. I just know it means something good, right? Maybe this is a way to clap. I don't know. Anyways, Shannon hops in with that high energy and tells Tamara she never takes accountability, and she goes so low when she gets mad, and does, and absolutely does. And so Shannon continues to make more and more sense. And naturally, we have Tamara, who has to bring up for the millionth time how she's been there for Shannon. I said, if I hear that one more time, and again, who needs people like that in your life that have to keep reminding you and keep tally and score of all the things that they've done for you and all the ways and times that they've been there? They know that. They know that. They don't need you to tell them that. They really don't. And so obviously we know, if you are reminding me and you're having to always bring that up, then it really makes me wonder at the end of the day, then are you just doing it for show? Oh, you must be, because normal people don't bring this type of stuff. People who are doing it from the true depths and core of their heart, they don't do all that. Doing the most. Anyway, so the statement of the episode, but and however, for me, was when Shannon says, "You have not been in my life for a year, and I've never been better without you in my life." Okay. I said, girl, Shannon, okay, honey. Yes. Yes. It was that right there for me. That works for me. Yes. That's a yes for me. Okay, this is the part of Shannon that I love. This is the Shannon I know and that I love and that I need to stay here until the end of time. All right, Shannon has got her mojo and she ain't letting it go. And so she's making me more and more convinced that she's just done with Tamara and her antic. Now, again, only time will tell, right? Because she kind of had me last season with the whole reunion. And I'm like, mm, but Shannon know what she doing. Shannon knows. Okay, so I'm a back off on worrying about her a little something, and I'm also so glad that Shannon called her out real good. I mean, she socked it to her real good, but the deflection from Tamara was very present when she then throws the hot potato right up in Gina's lap. Okay. And says, well, actually, because the whole Shannon drinking and concerns come up, right? Because what did Tamara say? Oh, you talk about people really bad when you're drinking. As a matter of fact, Gina said she's concerned for your drinking. And that's how the episode ends, right? That's how the episode ends. So we're going to take the heat off of me, the devil, and we're going to throw it on to someone else in the hopes that no one's paying attention that I just did this, and that I'm throwing someone else under the bus like I always do to save myself. Girl, it's been a recurring theme. It's been a pattern. We already, like, if we didn't know, then we know now. You know what I'm saying? Like how you move and how you operate. And even aside from that, anybody would know and can see clearly what you're doing. Okay. We see you. Right? We've been seeing you. So miss us with all of us. And I'm like, who needs people like Tamara around? Who needs people like that? Who really can really in their right mind be serious about moving on with somebody like her when she keeps showing over and over and over? Give me somebody, name me one episode, just one episode this season, since this is the season of her change. Name me one episode where she hasn't done or said something negative, or not taken accountability, or made herself look crazy in some way, shape, or form that shows that she's not changing, not one near bit. just one. Just one. Okay. And I'll be like, okay, cool. All right. You're absolutely correct. But show me first. All right. Cause I can't. And I can't I can't. Can I say it one more time too? She's gross. Absolutely gross. But anyways, y'all, the music is on. The dance floor is lit because I can go on and on and on about that and about her. But she ain't gonna stress me out today, okay? So don't be no prude and hold up the wall. Hop on the dance floor. Let me know your thoughts and your comments on this. Did y'all feel like this was a filler kind of episode? Did y'all feel like the whole point really was the point at the end? I'm sure there's things because there were definitely things that I was picking up on throughout, but I didn't want to make this video super long that I could have talked about. So maybe you guys will present and I'll just chime in from there. But it was just like, girl, Tamra, like, this is just like, I feel like my skin is getting more and more wrinkled as I watch her. I just, and I don't need that. Okay. I need something to rejuvenate and refresh. Okay. So let me know what y'all think, what you thought, all the things. You guys are just the best. Thank you so much for rocking with me. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. For those of you in advance who would decide to rock with me, thank you. I hope this video found you in good spirits. And if it hasn't, I hope that I said a little something that'll put a smile on your face and bring a little joy to your day. All right. Or if not, maybe you'll be excited by the fact that the Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford fight is tonight, which my husband is actually hosting a fight party. So I'm about to go finish getting set up for that. So at any event, you guys, you know, I will be back next week to do this all over again. I'm sending and giving you all, what do we call these? What did I, social hugs? Okay. Social hugs. And until I see y'all next week again, y'all know what to do. Y'all stay up, y'all stay blessed, and I'm out. Peace.